This is D, and let's dress for life. That's what's up. Recently, Vice President Pence was at an Indianapolis Colts game, and he left early. And he stated the reason for him leaving early was because he didn't want to dignify any event that was disrespecting the soldiers, disrespecting the flag, or disrespecting the national anthem. And Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, encouraged his players to stand because he did not want them to look unpatriotic. Here's a question to you. What does patriotism look like? Does it look like Crispus Attucks, who was a runaway light-bright slave, and this slave was protesting British maltreatment in the New World? I know many people will say, hey, listen, that was during the times of slavery, over 150 years ago. Okay, all right. How about this then? How about Isaac Woodard, who stood for equality for black folk in the 1940s? Both of these were black men, and both of these were black men living in times when they and their people were being treated very, very unfairly. Both were willing to do anything for their country, just like a faithful dog, even after that dog has been kicked by some of the owner's family members. That dog, faithful, returning time and again, despite being kicked, bitten, scratched, punched, things thrown at, returning time and again, willing to serve its owner at the cost of its own well-being. I want to ask you this. What groups in America have been treated so unfairly century after century after century? What violent protest groups have arisen after that? What anti-government groups have arisen from African Americans? Let me think. Okay. Can we say the Nation of Islam? Remember, the Nation of Islam had one of its members shot back in the early 1960s. And what was their response? Did they protest in Los Angeles? Did they shoot up the police precincts? Let me think. No. You want to talk about Black Lives Matter? They weren't even founded by African Americans. You want to talk about the Crips and the Bloods? They're not doing anything except in their own community. You talk about some of these individuals who feel that they were treated wrongly. You're talking about somebody who didn't make special forces. You talk about somebody who was a millionaire. Antifa, Chelsea Manning, Bo Bergdahl. Individuals blowing things up, shooting things up, stirring things up just because things didn't go their way. They protested with violence. They protested with methods and measures that would cause America, this government, this greatest of constitutional republics, significant and severe harm. I want to tell you this. Black folk symbolize patriotism. That's right. They are faithful, they're brave, and they are incorruptible. You're talking about individuals who are faithful to this country, holding to the belief that peaceful protest will continue to be honored, despite the backlash that began back on 5 March 1770. What happened then? Well, Crispus Attucks became the very first American to die for the revolutionary cause. This peaceful protest continues despite the backlash that continued on 13 February 1946, when an honorably discharged Sergeant Isaac Woodard protested unfair treatment by a white bus driver, which resulted in him being beaten by the police officers. Beaten and beaten and beaten to the point that this American service member, who was willing to die for his country, was actually blinded in South Carolina. Hashtag, the police chief was acquitted. Today, our peaceful protests continue. They continue at sporting events, despite the resulting backlash from the pariahs and the Warrens of America. We are the most faithful of Americans, and all we want is our America to stand by its claims of liberty for the least and justice for the least. Whatever you do to show your stand with this country's greatest of claims, make part of that stand or kneel or sit, whatever it may be. Make sure that it is positive energy put forth to establish yourself, your family, and your community as faithful, brave, and an integral part of the fabric of this, the greatest constitutional republic on God's green earth. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Additionally, go to www.destressmethod.com for more resource information. That's all we got for now. This is D, and Less Stress for Life. That's what's up. Peace.